All right. And we are live, I think.
Yep, I see it.
All right. Mine hasn't started yet.
I keep looking
Gotta,
over to my other screens to see.
there we go. Mute that. All right, we are live. Welcome to Blue Collar Fishing Thursday Night Live. Appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight. Tonight we have special guest Henry Moseley, young up and comer fishing creator here on YouTube and other social media platforms. I've linked his channel already over in the comment box if you want to check him out. Henry, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Henry, and I love fishing. I love hunting, and most of all, I love catching smallmouth. So if you go to my channel, you will see tons of smallmouth videos. I actually caught a really nice one at this creek not too long ago, and my channel's full of smallmouth content. That's what I do. I love fishing skinny water and smallmouth.
Yeah, where you're at in that's about as far south as you can go and still catch smallmouth.
Yeah, I mean, it at least where I'm at, I know there's tons of creeks, there's tons of, river systems. There's not I mean, there's artificial lakes that are like made by dams and stuff, but we don't have any actual like real lakes. So all the fishing I do is, wade fishing, skinny water, catching smallmouth, and I also do some hunting, but that's not going to start picking up till September and October and stuff because that's when deer season starts. So yeah, right now I'm just doing some smallmouth stuff, and I went up to Kentucky yesterday to try and catch some trout. I only caught one trout, but it's okay. It was fun. I enjoyed it. But yeah, skinny water fishing, that's my thing.
Yeah, me too. I just never really mastered deep water crankbaiting or anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm totally with you on that. I'm not. You take me out to a lake, and I'm clueless.
Try to figure it out. Stanley Orchard in the house tonight. There they are. Hey Henry, looking forward to the stream. Thanks for coming
Hello.
in, Stanley. Um, so I watched your the last video you sent me. That's your PB smallmouth that you caught.
Yes, yes.
And that was in a creek system.
Yeah, so it's a tributary from the Caney Fork.
Okay.
So like, uh, what Caney Fork is? What river? I mean, what lake is it come off of? It's not Cordell Hull. It's
Center Hill.
yeah, Center Hill. Yeah. So yeah, it's a tributary from the Caney Fork. So the Caney Fork it runs off from the Caney Fork, and I kind of just put the creek in my GPS and I drove to a spot, parked on the side of the road, and found my way in and ended up that was the first fish I caught. And I proceeded to catch several more fish. Not nearly that big, but uh, it was just a great day. It was a fun day. It's probably my most proud video of the summer. Uh, I mean, I've done some other decent stuff, but that was just an all around great day. And I was exploring, doing new things. I loved it. It was so much fun.
What'd you catch him on?
So I use a Charlie Brewer slider worm. So it's a company actually based in Tennessee, and it's basically just a little worm, but it's got like a flat end on the tail to kind of add some action. I don't think I have any with me right now, or else I'd show you guys. But um, yeah, it's just a little worm, and I cast it out and just shake it a little bit. It's like finesse type fishing. It's yeah, that's basically what it is.
No, it's like a trick worm.
Yeah, sure.
Um, how long you been doing YouTube?
So this channel I started last summer. I originally started to do hunting content, but I quickly realized that I can't do hunting content the entire year because there's deer season and then there's turkey season and there's a lot of gaps in between. So I decided to start fishing because I'm actually a lot better fisherman than I am a hunter. Uh, so yeah, this summer I just really cracked down on the fishing. So but I've been doing YouTube on and off since I was really young. Like, I used to play airsoft. I basically like paintball. We shoot people with plastic pellets, and I'd make tons of videos there. And I got almost 300 subscribers on that channel, but it's not really something I like to do anymore. I really like, fishing, hunting, being outdoors. So I made this channel, and I yeah. So I just make fishing and hunting content, and I've been doing it for about a year now.
Um, who inspired you to start making fishing videos on YouTube? Was it another YouTuber or?
Um so I have not watched a whole lot of YouTubers. I definitely watched like people from the Guggen Squad when I was like in high school. But one person that I have watched consistently as far as fishing goes is Bama Bass. I really like their content. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone really has inspired me. I just I just know that I want to do YouTube, and I want to share it with people, and hopefully people can find enjoyment from what I'm putting out. Yeah, I don't know if I have someone who really inspired me, but the YouTuber that I would choose would probably be Bama Bass.
I've seen quite a bit of this stuff. Fishing and hunting is a great long-term channel selection with far better CPMs. FYI.
Well, hey, there we go.
Please say Stanley. Please say Stanley. Please. First one I think I remember subscribing to was Fluke Master. I don't know if you ever seen him.
No, I don't think I have.
He was the biggest back before like the Gugons became a thing. So
Right.
he actually a lot of those kids were riding his coattails when they were all making the mystery tackle box slam videos and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, fishing. Hello, hey, okay. How you doing, Matt? Thanks for coming in. How's the hockey game going?
I got some buddies that are really into hockey too.
You know, I've been to
Predators.
like a couple of live games, and it's okay when they start fighting, but other than that, I'm
Yeah.
going, what's going on here?
Well, that's what the Predators are for, man. In Nashville, they're notorious for that. I've been to a couple of games, and I don't think I've been to a game where they haven't gotten in a fight. So it's a lot of fun.
SoFlo Outdoors, what's up, guys? SoFlo,
Hello.
welcome to the channel. Appreciate you coming in tonight. He's new for me.
Well, welcome.
Came over from the Cord. Okay. All right.
Cool.
You know, that Discord server is turning out to be quite a gift that keeps giving.
I know. I originally joined it because I was trying to find places where I could promote my content and everything, but it's actually just turned into something where like we can talk and we can, better ourselves as far as, content creators. And it's helped me a lot with content making and stuff like that. And I enjoy everyone in there. I think they're all great guys, and I'm happy I joined it. I really am.
Yeah. Stanley had been asking me to for a while now, and I don't know. I was like, oh, man, this course for kids.
Yeah, I originally used it playing video games with my friends when I was in high school, like 15 years old. So, yeah.
I've never been a big gamer, so my kids use it for that.
Right.
I got kids that are almost your age, not quite yet, but they're close. I got kids that are old. Both my kids are older than Kai.
Yeah, I don't know how old Kai is, but he looks kind of young from what I've seen of him.
I won't just announce it here. Actually, he was on the channel a couple of weeks ago, so I think he did say how old he is. If he feels comfortable telling you, he'll tell you.
It's all right, Kai. You don't have to tell me how old you are.
He's young. So what do you got in the box? What do you got coming, Henry?
So, I mean, I told you yesterday I went trout fishing. So this upcoming Monday, we're gonna have a Kentucky trout fishing video. I only caught one trout, but I caught tons of other like chubs and like minnows and stuff. I actually caught one on top water with a dry fly. I was fly fishing, and that should be kind of a different video from what I've been doing here lately because it's been all smallmouth, and I've also been doing some how-to stuff. So yeah, we're gonna be doing some trout fishing next week. That should be cool. So that's what I got so far. I'm trying to decide when I want to start doing the hunting content. I'm not sure yet. I might have another fishing video that comes out the next week, or we'll be totally switching gears. And I'm kind of interested to see how that transition goes because I do have a lot of people that are here for my fishing content. But I feel like a lot of fishermen are also hunters. So it might work out well. If it doesn't, I'll try and figure out a way to incorporate that fishing. I know during the winter time and fall, the TWRA, the Wildlife Resource uh, Agency here in Tennessee, they'll do a lot of trout stocking programs. And so I live next to a lot of places where that is done. So if the hunting content isn't taken off, then I'll do some trout fishing, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Um, it should be okay. I mean, I know last week you were talking to John about it, and he is very hyper focused on.
Right.
Not only is he hyper focused on a niche, he's hyper focused on a niche inside a niche, and that's really working for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you know what? Actually, it probably really could work for you because you and John aren't that far apart.
Right. Right.
He's out of Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yeah. He does a lot of stuff in East Tennessee.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But you know, like I've done some of them. I think I have like 4 on my channel hunting videos, but I've got a transition season here where uh, can ice fish, can open water fish.
Right.
So
Right.
fishing's not. Maybe you can find some trout streams, but they get lethargic too once it gets really cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, cause they'll even if it gets too cold, you know, people think cold water streams for trout, but it can get too cold for them too.
All right. And even some of them up here, like you'll get like ice chunks and stuff. Or
Right.
if it
Right.
snows, if it snows, it's hard to get access into them.
Right. We here in Tennessee, we actually get a lot more snow than people would think. I mean, last I know during hunting season, we got tons of snow. I mean, there were tons of cold fronts that came in, and yeah, we were sitting in some tree stands in the snow. It was in some deep snow, like 4 to 6 inches. I know for some people, like feet of snow is a lot of snow, but in Tennessee, you get 6 inches. That's a lot.
Stanley says, Henry, I'm excited to see your hunting content, man. I mean, yeah, I'll check it out.
Thank you, thank you. I hope it's good. I'm not a great hunter. I'm really learning. I've only been hunting for probably this will be my third season really hunting. So yeah, and I only bow hunt too. I don't rifle hunt. I don't shotgun hunt. No gun hunting for me. So yeah, I've really limited myself, especially being a novice. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna try and at least get a doe, and if the right buck comes around, then we'll definitely take a shot at them. It should be really fun. I learn something new every single year. Hunting's just it gives me an adrenaline rush. It's so much fun, and I hope it's a good season. I hope everything turns out all right. This Saturday we're actually going to be planting our food plots for the fall, so we're going to try and make sure that all goes in smoothly. And if it does, then we should be on the right track.
The only thing I will tell you is when you start, YouTube doesn't appreciate hunting like they
Right.
do fishing. So
Yeah.
when you start uploading those, I would do the research to know
Yeah.
what ticks YouTube off, so you don't, get in trouble or get it taken down or anything like that.
Yeah. I that's a great point, and I've really been worried about that, to tell you the truth, because I want to do hunting content, but I also don't want to get my channel in trouble. Obviously, I'm not real big right now, so it might not be as big of a deal, but once I get to a point where I have a substantial audience, I could get myself into real trouble. So yeah, I've looked at the YouTube updated their terms or their guidelines or whatever it is not too long ago, because there's a whole scare recently with the hunting community and everything. But yeah, I looked at it, and it's I think I can still do what I want to do without breaking their rules and guidelines. And I understand why they
Mm.
have it, but it's coming from people who are in California who probably don't hunt, don't fish, and I really think that they should talk to people who actually are in that field, because I think it would open up their eyes, because fishermen and hunters are the reason why we have these animals still. I mean, we pay for conservation. If you didn't have us, you wouldn't have deer anymore. like it's we there's so much, even like where I live, they're building neighborhoods like crazy, and it's just pushing deer out of, their habitat, and it's a shame, but it is what it is, and the only people that can stop uh, these animals from going extinct, or just the populations from declining so fast, is us. So I wish people would understand that more.
I think a lot of people have this stereotype against us. It's like uh, some of the biggest, like, I don't know, environmentalists, I guess,
Right.
and especially the biggest conservationists I know are hunters and fishers. They want the
Exactly.
waters.
Yeah.
They want the waters clean for that resource to continue to be there. They want, you know, they want the
Yeah.
healthy population of whatever herd they're hunting. Um, like we get a big thing up here. Like there are Pennsylvania's got some funny rules, and there are a lot of old traditionalists that just, I don't know, stuck in their ways, and they're starting to change those rules now to benefit more hunters.
Yeah.
And like we have a do you have an antler restriction in Tennessee?
No. Which, I mean, me personally, I would be kind of for that. Uh, but no, we don't. We don't. I think across the state it's $2 or two antlered deer uh, per season, and then depending on what, because like Tennessee split up into units, because we actually do have CWD here, so there's like a unit CWD, and then there's like unit L, unit A, unit B, stuff like that, and that determines how many does you can take per season. So archery, muzzleloader, rifle. Uh, yeah, we don't have anything on antlers, which I would be for. I think it would help increase buck age structure, which is something that is needed here in Tennessee.
We have them here. It's got to be 3 points up one side, and the brow time's got to be so long to count. But
Now that's hard. That might be difficult, to on the hoof, seeing how long the brow tine is. I
yeah,
don't
well,
know.
basically, I just count that as a Y buck. If I don't see 3 points at the top, it's a Y buck. I haven't shot a
Right.
buck here actually, but they have issued a lot more doe tags here recently.
Yeah.
And then all the traditionalists are like, oh, the state there'll be no deer left. I can walk to a field right now, and I can probably take a
Right.
video with 200 of them.
Yeah. Like the
We
state.
do not. They're not an endangered species.
Right. Right. The state, they do studies. They do. I mean, at least Tennessee does, and I'm sure Pennsylvania does as well. They do studies. They check deer populations. They know when something needs to be protected and when it doesn't need to be as protected. So, I mean, I think people need to put more trust in their DNR or their Wildlife Resource Agency. Sometimes, they don't always do what they should be doing, but I do think that they have good intentions. So Yeah, if they allow it, then I think it's completely fine because they have done the research, they have done the work to make sure that it's safe to do.
Well, I mean, there in some areas here, we have I don't know if you have them or not, but we have they're called WMUs. So you have to wildlife management unit. So
Yeah.
you have to like when you fill out a doe tag, you have to put. I'll tell you complications of that you have to put like a what WMU you prefer, your second and your third or whatever if they're out of that one. But
Hmm. Are you talking about like public land? Like where you?
the whole state's divided up into WMUs. So
Okay,
there's
okay.
like 4A, 4B, 4C, 5A, 5B, 5C. So it's one, two,
So
five, ABC.
so like the units that I was talking about in Tennessee, like different parts of the state.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, we call them WMUs up here.
Okay.
I haven't had a hunting license in Tennessee since I was your age. As a matter of fact, ironically. Um, it's called WMUs up here. And up here for a doe tag, like, you walk into your sporting goods store or whatever and you buy your hunting license, and your hunting license comes with one buck tag, a turkey tag, and then you got to get a special pheasant permit. It's like the trout stamp on your fishing license.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get a pheasant permit, and then you have to ask while you're there for pink envelopes, the pink envelope system. And then they give you the pink envelope. They ask you how many you want. I always take two. And then you go home and you take give you the guide, the regulation book too. But then there's always one doe tag permit application on the hunting license. You rip that off, fill it out, write out a check to the county treasurer, and then you put the check and the permit for what WMU you want in the doe tag lottery, and then there's another envelope inside basically.
Jeez,
The
this
envelope's
sounds so
like
complicated.
it is. It's so there's two envelopes basically. So you fill out your address on the envelope and put a stamp on it, and then fill out the county treasurer address on the top envelope, put a stamp on it, and then send it in. And then if you get it, they send you back a doe tag.
Jeez. Yeah, we
And
just
I'm sitting here
whenever.
like, um, Tennessee actually had a similar system, and they got rid of it the year I was born,
Oh,
and I'm
really?
over 20 years older than you. So
Yeah, now like when we want to report a harvest, we just press a button in the app and we're good. Like we don't even get actual tags anymore. It's all on the TWRA app. So I mean, and for me, like it's real easy because whenever I was a baby, my parents bought me a lifetime license because it's real cheap uh, whenever you're first born, and so I don't have to worry about getting a doe tag or like trout stamps or like anything like that. So uh, for me, I just if I shoot a deer, I click what unit it was in, whether it was a buck or a
did you get it
doe.
when you were 13 when you needed a license and you passed the hunter safety course?
Well, I got my hunting license and my fishing license I think when I was a year old. So
You don't need it till you're 13.
yeah,
Don't you have to
but
take? You don't have to take the
it's
hunter safety course down there anymore.
well, no, you do, but I got my hunting license. That didn't mean I could hunt. I could fish, but I couldn't hunt. I still needed to get the hunter safety. So I never went actually hunting with a firearm until I was probably like end of high school, maybe. So I went hunting a couple of times in high school, and then here in this past 3 years, that's when I've been seriously, trying to, you know, hunt serious and everything. So, but so I got the lifetime fishing license and lifetime hunting license when I was 1 years old because it's real cheap back then. But whenever like now, if I was to try and buy it, and if I didn't have it, it would be thousands of dollars. But back then, my parents got it for me. It was real cheap, and so I got my hunter safety when I was in high school, which then allowed me to hunt. So I couldn't hunt just with the hunting license. I still had to get the hunter safety, but I didn't get that until later.
Stanley had brought up something a couple of weeks ago. We were talking while he was on the live, and I think I agree with him. You think in this day and age where everything's digital now, and especially with content creators and the upsurge in media content and traveling, they just come up with a national license. Like you could go to
Yeah,
like a national website and buy a license that works anywhere in the nation for whatever it had,
right.
$2,000 or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, I agree that that needs to be a thing, but I feel like it probably end up having to cost a lot of money to get that, which it would make sense for people who are traveling all the time, but for
Most states, the license costs $52 a year. So if you
right,
times that by 50, that would be the price of the national license.
yeah, per year. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, if you're a big time guy who's got the money to do it, and yeah, I think I definitely think a national license should be a thing, but maybe for me, like Kentucky's an hour away, so I can go fish Kentucky or
Twenty
hunt
six hundred
in
dollars.
Kentucky quite easily. So I think having some type of, and I don't know if it's already a thing or not, but maybe like a combo thing, like you can hunt, all the states surrounding your state would be interesting. I don't know how they would do that, but I think that would be really helpful too.
All right. Looks like we got a whole conversation going on in the chat, guys.
I
Hey,
wasn't even
appreciate you
reading it.
watching. Odds of you fishing more than 5 states highly unlikely. Charge the average of 5 states and allow payments for access to all 50. Who wouldn't take that? Yeah, I guess about it. Well, like where Henry lives, the odds of fishing 7 are pretty actually high.
Yeah, because Tennessee,
Surrounded by seven
it's a
states.
long state, but it's not very like tall. I guess
Right.
that's I don't know how to put it, but um, so I can get to Alabama, I can get to Georgia, I can get to Kentucky, all under 3 hours. So
Well, not only that, but a lot of the lakes there actually share states. Like Chickamauga is Georgia,
yep,
Alabama, and Tennessee.
that's
Bell
right.
Hollow's Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky is Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Uh, what's the other one? Pickwick.
What
What's the
about
other
Real
one down
Foot?
there?
Isn't Real Foot? Isn't it?
Reelfoot's West Tennessee. Doesn't
Yeah,
that
but
go
isn't it
into
real up
Mississippi?
north?
It goes into Kentucky. A very small
Yeah,
section of it goes into Kentucky.
yeah. I never fished there. I would really like to because I think that's the only natural lake in Tennessee that I know of.
7 states is that price yet? No, I agree. And you know what? For the guys like Steve Ranella that fish 50 of them, charge $2,600 for a 50-state fishing license.
Yeah,
He would pay that.
yeah. I mean, if it's your livelihood, then I think anyone would be willing to pay that. Like, if hopefully, once my channel grows, I'd like to travel a lot and see new places and everything. And having something like that would help a lot, and it would also make sure that I'm following all the laws, because you have to get your fishing license, you have to get your trout license and everything. Because like in Kentucky, I had to pay like $15 for a day license just to fish, and then I had to pay another like 10 or 15 for the trout license. So if sometimes it can be hard for people when they're reading that print, oh, fishing license, I'll go get it, and then I'll start fishing for trout, and then they get in trouble because they didn't get their trout license.
So, constitutional fishing rights. I'm actually probably going to disagree with that because then there will be nothing left.
Yes, I think I agree with you because um, again, that keeps like if you just give everyone the right to fish and there's no money coming in to protect these different wildlife, then they're all going to go away, and no one's going to be able to fish anymore.
When I was a kid, a lot younger than you, there are a lot of things now that they make TV shows about hunting that were on the endangered species list.
Right.
So a lot of conservation offices have done an incredible job in the past 50 years of bringing these species back to
Right.
incredible numbers, and they do that through uh, the sale of hunting and fishing licenses.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
do I wish they'd make it more affordable for some people? Yeah, sure, but I don't know. I get the need for conservation finances. Like black bear were on the endangered species in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've made an incredible comeback.
I mean,
Alligator were an endangered species. There's a whole show on History Channel about hunting them.
yeah. Yeah. The swamp people. Also, like back in the 30s, I think like white-tailed deer, there's not a whole lot of them either. And through different efforts, they're in the millions now.
SoFlo says, well, when you charter, you don't have to have a fishing license.
That's right.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing SoFlo means Southern Florida, because that is not true here. If I take a charter on Lake Erie, I have to have a fishing license from whatever state I departed from. And I have to have a $10 Erie permit.
So whenever I went and did a charter in Florida or Alabama, I think it's Alabama, Gulf Shores. That's where we go usually. I
Is that
don't think
only
I
on the
needed a
ocean?
fishing license. Say what?
I wonder if that's only on the ocean.
Well, we fished in the bay. That's still saltwater. I have no clue. We didn't need a fishing license then, but we did do a charter up in Michigan where we fished Lake St. Clair and the Detroit River. And I'm trying to remember if we needed a license or not. I don't know, because that was my father. He dealt with all that, so I don't remember, quite frankly. But it makes sense. I think some places you might need one. Other places the guide usually provide or gives you the license basically. But yeah, in Florida and Alabama, whenever I went fishing, we didn't need one because the guide would give it to you, or
Okay.
it was covered.
Yeah, they don't do that here. I took a walleye charter on Lake Erie 2 years ago. And in Pennsylvania, to fish Erie, you got to have a Pennsylvania fishing license if you're old enough to need a fishing license. Of course, in Pennsylvania, it's 16. You don't have to have one until you're 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think it's 13 in Tennessee. It was when I was young. So it's 16, but and if you want to catch trout or steelhead, it's a steelhead. There's some debate on whether a Lake Erie steelhead is a steelhead or not, but a steelhead is considered a trout. So if you want to keep the steelhead that you catch there, you need the trout permit. So a fishing license, the trout permit, and you need a special Lake Erie permit here. So,
oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's $36 for the fishing license, additional 12 for the trout stamp, and another 10 for the Lake Erie permit.
Wow, adds up.
In British Columbia. Hey, Kai, in Canada, do y'all have like your provinces? Do they have different fishing license for the provinces like they do in the States, or you just have a Canadian fishing license? Under 12 in Texas. Texas does everything different.
I don't know if I said this, but hello SoFlo, hello Stanley, hello Grant, and hello Kai or OK Fishing. I don't know if I told you guys hello, but thank you for watching and tuning in. I appreciate that, everyone.
16 here also. In your first year, you don't need your hunter safety course. They changed that
Oh,
law
that's
when I was
interesting.
in junior high in Tennessee. I don't know about here. Yes, the licenses are by province. Okay, so if you're in Ontario and you go to um, Manitoba or Montreal or something to fish, you got to buy a license for that province too. Henry
Class
said class
action.
A.
We both
Oh no,
read it at
Henry.
the same time.
Let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about the more joyful side of fishing.
All right, all right.
I've asked every guest I've ever had on this question: why do you fish, and how did you start fishing?
So I guess I fish because, well, it's a long story. I'll try and not make it too long, but whenever I was in high school, I was struggled a lot. I played sports, and I also really liked playing video games. So I was friends with people who played sports. I was also friends with I guess nerds, as you would call it. Uh, and so there was a lot of like people didn't like me because I hung out with this crowd, and I also hung out with this other crowd. So ended up just not fitting in with anybody. So I went into like a really, you know, sad portion of my life where I just wasn't really happy, and I just didn't really know what to do. So I started watching YouTube, and for some reason, the algorithm chose to show me fishing videos. And I think it was probably people from the Guggen Squad. I don't know. Uh, all I know is I just watched a lot of fishing videos. And so I was like, I want to do this. And so I didn't really have anyone to do it with other than my dad. And I didn't really grow up fishing. We went fishing a couple of times, but I kind of, the way I bonded with my dad was, I'd play whenever you get home from work, we'd play like video games together. We'd play like Civilization or like strategy games. And so when I came to him and I wanted to go fishing, he didn't really know a whole lot either, and so we went through this process of just like not catching anything. And the more like I would not catch anything, the more I would just be like I guess obsessed with fishing because I wanted to get better at it. Whenever I am not good at something, I really try hard to get better. So I just keep watching videos. I kept watching videos, and me and my dad, we would go out and fish at the same place every single time. I don't know why we did it, because we just never caught anything ever. But eventually, we got decent enough to where we started catching like bluegill, and I think we caught a rock bass. And I didn't at the time. I didn't even know what it was. I took a photo of it, and me and my dad, we were clueless as to what it was. It looked like a bluegill, but it also was like longer than a bluegill. So we were just both super confused. I That's one of my funniest memories of fishing with my dad. But we caught those fish, and then eventually my dad had a buddy who actually really was good at fishing, and it was my birthday, and he took me and my dad out to go fish, and we went smallmouth fishing. So that was the first time I was really introduced to catching smallmouth. And what we did is, what my dad's friend did is he cast netted and caught central stone rollers, which is a very common minnow here in Tennessee. And we just fished with live bait, and we caught tons of smallmouth. And once we ran out of bait, we started using the Charlie Brewer slider worm, which I mentioned previously, and we still caught tons of smallmouth. And ever since then, I've just fallen in love with it. Uh, I I'm obsessed, and I always have been. The hunting kind of took over a little bit, and I didn't have as much time to fish. But ever since I started doing this YouTube channel, I have gotten back into it, and I've I've gone fishing almost every week. And yeah, so how did I start fishing? What was the other part of the question?
Why do you fish? You answered them both.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I fish because it when I was in a really dark place, it helped me be more happy, and it helped me grow as a person.
Awesome. Stanley says this backstory needs to be the entire foundation of your channel. This is deep.
Yeah, I usually
Rant
don't
right on.
share. I usually don't share that much, but I figured I'd be honest. I want to be completely open about everything. So yeah, that's why I fish. That's how I kind of got into it. I never grew up doing it. I never, uh, I wasn't raised on it like a lot of people were. I was introduced to it a little bit different way, but you know, it's fun. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. So that's why I made a YouTube channel too. So I could hopefully I can make a career out of what I enjoy doing, because that's another thing. I don't really know what I want to do. I'm in college for history, and I love history, but you know there's archivist jobs and stuff, but I don't know. It's not hasn't really interested me, and the only thing that's really interested me is fishing and hunting and sharing that with people and creating a community. So that's the route that I'm on right now, and I'm hoping that it turns into something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you'll be the next Steve Ranella.
Maybe I just hope I'm able to get enough people to where I can just feel comfortable. I don't need to make a lot of money. I just want to have a core group of people that enjoy me, and that we can share and learn from each other. That's basically what I want.
Well, you laugh, but I said that semi sincerely because, um, Steve Ranella uh, went to school for journalism and history.
Oh, okay.
He's a big history buff too. If you ever read any of his books, well, there's a lot of historic fact, especially in the historic of hunting, trapping, fishing,
Hmm.
mountain men, things of that nature. I just finished the one about a buffalo hunt. It was in my MP3 player. So
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm actually I've watched a little bit of the bushcraft stuff, and I think it's really cool. Like just living off the land and everything. I don't know. I'd have to work my way into it. I think roughing it like that, but um, I
what
think it's
bush
really cool.
what bushcraft people are you watching or have you watched?
I watched I watched this one guy. I can't because I was into it a long time ago. I haven't watched it. I haven't had a lot of time to watch other people because I've been so focused on doing my thing. Uh, but he has this dog. It passed away, but his dog's name is Scout. But he lives in Canada. I think he lives in British Columbia, maybe.
I know
And
who you're
he
talking
just
about.
yeah, he does a whole lot of he'll make his own shelter, and I think sometimes he fishes for food and everything. He's really cool. I really enjoyed him.
His name's Greg Ovens.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
His name's Greg Ovens, and he films actually like it's his channel, and he films, but he just films. All his editing work is done by another guy that I actually know, Zachary Fowler. Zach Fowler did a YouTube class last year that I got in on, so I have a kind of a relationship with him. But
That's
Greg
cool.
Evans films. He's one of the like Zach has this like collaborative effort with a bunch of bushcraft survivalist guys. So, but Greg Evans was also on season 3 of History Channel's Alone, which was the season that Zach won.
That's cool. That's cool.
But um, but yeah, it's like him and Ace Videos and who's the other guy? The Bearded Woodsman,
I think I've heard of him.
The
Maybe.
Wooded Beardsman, the Wooded Beardsman actually. But yeah,
Oh wait, Zachary Fowler. That sounds familiar. He is he a redhead? Does he have?
yeah,
Yeah, I watched his Canadian Rockies series. I
with
think.
Greg Ovens.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a cool. He did like he hunted gopher and he also caught a lot of trout. I think
Yeah,
that was basically his meal was trout and gopher.
this has been my year for trout, man.
I've only caught one trout this summer, and that was yesterday.
In the spring, I could fill the back half of this room with trout. Uh, we have a pretty heavy put and take stock program here.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they do put that permit price tag to get, and everybody gets it because trout fishing is the most abundant fishing here. So
Right, right.
matter of fact, opening day of trout is like a holiday here almost. You got people elbow to elbow, you know.
Do you guys have any native brook trout?
We do. Yeah, actually, a matter of fact, brook trout is the only native trout in the region.
Right. Yeah.
And did you know brook trout are not actually a trout?
I did not know that. What are they?
They belong to the creek chub family.
Really? That's interesting. They get pretty big for being in the creek chub family. The native ones don't, but the stocked ones they get pretty big.
Yep. So a
That's
native
cool.
trout is not actually in the trout family.
That's interesting.
Well, it's just like Americans calling things the wrong thing. But
Right. Yeah.
like Asian carp is not actually a carp.
What is it?
It's a plankton strainer. It's in a similar family to like a paddle-tail catfish.
Man, I'm learning. Wow, that's interesting.
They're filter feeders,
Right. Yeah.
while carp are actual bottom feeders.
Yeah. And carp, you can fly fish for those because they'll
Yeah,
they're
they'll hit a
carnivorous.
fly.
Yeah.
I have yet to do it. Like I took up fly fishing in during the pandemic
Hmm.
to try to learn something else. It was crazy time to take all this up because like I got a kayak during the pandemic. I took up fly fishing during the pandemic, but prices were so outrageous.
Right.
It, it was seriously nuts for nutty time to take all this up, but I
Well,
did.
fly fishing is an expensive hobby to get into. I mean, your like basic starter rod and reel or whatever you want to call it. It's it'll run you between $200 $300 depending on
You
what you
can.
get.
I got a combo from LL Bean, so it was around that. But not
Yeah.
only that, but then especially like up here in the winter, the other equipment you might want to need waders, wading boots,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, here we don't have to use waders until probably October, and that goes through probably March.
And I will say here, man, some of the fly fishermen they're pretentious as all get out.
Yeah, they do have that stereotype where they are pompous buttholes to say it be PG.
And it can get aggravating.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
fly fishing, there are so many things that like factor into it. Like if it's windy outside, put it up. If it's raining, put it up. If it's
Hmm. Yeah. Uh, yeah, actually for the longest time uh, I wanted to get into fly fishing, but my dad he was of the opinion he's like I don't want to fly fish because those guys are just pompous, rich, buttholes that just like. But no, he fly fishes now and he loves it. So he was really wrong on that, and he's admitted it too. And he understands why people like to fly fish. It's just another tool in the arsenal. And it's actually like getting the
you're right.
muscle memory down is difficult. That's hard, but once you learn that, it's not that hard to catch fish. I mean, it's a pretty good way of catching fish.
I've been corrected by Kai, and I just looked it up, and he is correct.
Oh,
I said creek chub. They're actually the char family.
well, you were right. They're not in the trout family.
I was half right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guy. I don't know why I said creek chub. Actually, I know why. I'm uploading the video now while I'm doing this. Where I caught a creek chub.
Oh. Well, I caught a creek chub yesterday. In this real deep pool. It was interesting. He just ran right after it, and I forgot my bite indicator or my strike indicator, and I was using like a midge or a nymph. I don't know what the word is, but just real small fly. And so I had to eyeball it the entire time. So I had to watch and wait for the trout to run and hit this tiny lure. It was really rough yesterday. We managed to catch one, but I think if I had that strike indicator, I probably could have just totally annihilated him.
We used to catch them in this creek behind the house I grew up in. Um, they were creek chubs, but we called them horny head minnows. They had like two horns on the
Oh, okay.
top of their head. Growing up, I mean, especially those are like that small. So you gut them, you fry them up. You can eat the
Hmm.
bones and everything because the bones just kind of turn brittle and translucent. But I think they actually might be endangered in those creeks now.
Oh, no more eating them.
Yeah, no more. Well, now that I'm older or whatever, eating the minnow is just not at the top of my.
Right.
I still eat fried bluegill or crappie or something like that. Have you
Yeah.
done any catching cooks yet?
Not on my channel, no, but I have toyed with it off camera and everything, and because I went to the Candy Fork a couple years back, and we caught a trout and never gutted a fish, never filleted a fish, never done any of that. And I just looked up a video on YouTube. I peeled it apart, did whatever I need to do, and then like there's this like blood vessel you have to scrape out with your thumb, and I did that, and we put it on the grill, and it's pretty good. I enjoyed it, so it's definitely something I'm gonna have to do. It was a lot of fun. I'm not the greatest cook, but I mean it's definitely gonna be something that happens in the future.
Grant, doves and waterfowl go west of me to Missouri and Arkansas. We get a few if weather cooperates. DNR doesn't plant food like used to. You know, man, I used to say that like duck hunting or waterfowl that was the rich man's game because
Yeah,
you had to buy steel shot and all that. And I'm guessing the waterfowl permit we got to get that up here down there. But now after the pandemic and the ammunition shortage, I think dove hunting is the rich man's game.
have you ever had poppers? Dove poppers?
Yes.
They're awesome. Awesome. Wrap them in bacon, man. They're
Yeah,
good.
most popular way. I also soak it in the breast. I'll soak it in when I make poppers. I'll take that and marinate it in some Dales.
Yeah, I've heard. I've never had Dale's, but there's a guy I think yeah, on Instagram because I posted I cooked some venison tenderloin for the first time a couple of days ago, and he was telling me to use the Dales or whatever because that's what he does. Um, yeah,
I tell you what, especially if you're going to start doing like some wild game cooking. Well, if you get a deer, I mean, there's no catch and release in deer hunting.
yeah, you just catch it and eat
Yeah.
it.
But there's a guy in Kentucky. He used to be the host of their outdoor show called Kentucky Afield, and
I was
now,
watching their videos just like before we got on here. That was awesome.
well, the guy before the guy that hosted now, his name was Tim Farmer.
Hmm.
Shoots a bow with his teeth because he lost the use of his right arm in a
Oh my
motorcycle accident
gosh!
when he was home on leave from the Marines.
Wow.
And so he tied a leather cord to his bowstring and he draws it back like that and shoots it. He's won competitions doing that.
I wonder what his poundage is. I mean, geez,
I don't know. I don't think I have the teeth for it.
that's crazy.
But Actually, I have both my use both my arms, and I can't shoot a bow because I'm double jointed in my elbow, so the string slaps me.
Oh, ow. Yeah, that when I first started shooting my bow, that was a very common occurrence. I had some pretty gnarly scrapes and marks on my forearm from just smacking it. But now I've gotten decent enough to where it doesn't touch my arm anymore.
But look up when he left Kentucky Field when he retired from the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. He started a PBS show called Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Him and his wife do it, and he's got a website and Facebook and all that. But if you look him up, he's got a lot of great recipes for deer, dove, squirrel, turkey, whatever you're into.
Yeah,
In that region.
I've really wanted to get good at like cooking stuff like that because at
I
some point
made
in time. Go ahead.
I made venison stew with a doe I got last year. The best venison. Not if I didn't tell you that was venison, I would defy you to tell me it's not beef.
I mean, I
Is that
honestly
good?
like venison more than beef. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds good. The stew, I don't think I've had it in a stew yet. That would be something interesting to try. We might have to do that this fall if we get one. Uh, yeah, I want to at some point. I would love to just totally cut beef out of my diet and just be strictly venison. I mean, I think it's a lot healthier for you. It's got a lot of cholesterol, but a lot less fat and a whole lot more protein. So.
Yeah, it can get tough too because it doesn't have a fat content. Can't like if you make burgers or anything with it, you got to add like pork or something to
Well,
make fancy burgers.
we actually made burgers with it not too long ago, and we used egg whites or eggs, maybe just straight eggs. I don't know, and it held it together pretty good.
Blue collar, what part of PA are you from? I'm originally from Pittsburgh, but was too young to really get into fishing up that way. I am well. I'm not from here, but I live in Eastern PA. I'm about between New York City and Philadelphia. I'm about an hour west in the Lehigh Valley. Also a steel town. So, but I actually I grew up about an hour and a half east of where Henry is right now. Well, yeah, hour and a half, two. We'll say two. Be safe. 96 miles west of Nashville. East of Nashville, I mean. 96 miles west of Knoxville. Right in the middle. How far are you from Nashville? 20 minutes?
Uh, 45 minutes, like 40, 45 minutes. Because like I don't I live like more south of Murfreesboro. I'm not really in
I got
Murfreesboro,
you. I got you.
so like I'm really on the outskirts. Uh, I live I live in an area called Walter Hill, um, which is in between like Lebanon, Smyrna, and Murfreesboro.
I used to live in Lebanon.
They got a lot of they got a lot of creeks over there. When I was driving on 231, because it's just a straight shot to Kentucky, there's crossover so many creeks, so many, and there's tons that I want to check out, but I'm not going to have the opportunity to this summer. There's so many.
It's man, you're in the right area to collab. You ever start getting some there are so many YouTubers around you right now.
Well, I know. Creek Fishing Outdoors. He lives in Tennessee, but I'm not sure of any other people.
Talking about John from last week, Creek Fishing
Yeah.
Adventures.
Oh, yeah. Adventures. Sorry.
It's all right. Um, Alex, Realistic Fishing. He's in Lebanon.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Let's see. Tactical Bassin just moved to Chickamauga in Tennessee. You've got Alex Rudd fishing out of Knoxville. He's been here on the channel several times. Actually, he'll be back in 2 weeks. Billy Claybo fishing with Billy. He's out of Knoxville. You've got Chat Cat fishing. He's out of Dayton, I want to say that
Yeah,
area.
I've been to Dayton. That's
Uh,
near Chattanooga, right?
Kayak catfish, yeah, kayak catfish. All right, history major. What is Dayton, Tennessee famous for?
Uh, it's a court case with William Jennings Bryan. It's I forget what the case is though. Man,
Scopes Monkey Trials.
yes, the Scopes Monkey Trials. That's right.
William James Bryan. You didn't bring up Clarence Darrow.
Well, I know who William Jennings Bryan is because he's from Tennessee, and also he ran for president many times, and he failed every single time.
So, Flo, I was just in Nashville not too long ago and hated it. I thought Miami was bad, but man, driving in Tennessee was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand. I can
Nashville
understand.
can be a bit of a bear to get in and out of.
Yeah, there's actually some good fishing over there too, though. I mean, you got the Cumberland, and then there's also a lot of creeks in and around Nashville that a lot of people wouldn't
And you got some lakes
assume.
pretty nearby, too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
got the Caney Fork running in there from
Hmm.
Center Hill, and it runs out of Center Hill and dumps into Hickory.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because Old Hickory's next to Nashville too. Uh, I've actually almost every single catfish I've ever caught has been out of Old Hickory because
I
my
think
grandparents.
Hickory's fed by the Cumberland River, isn't it? So
Yes,
the Caney
yes,
Fork probably dumps into Cumberland. The Cumberland dumps into Hickory.
yeah. Yeah, my grandparents, or my
Cumberland dump
grandmother.
into the Tennessee.
I have no clue. I not real great with geography. Yeah, my grandma, she lives on Old Hickory, so we used to go there a lot. We haven't gone there much because I mean we didn't go there a whole lot because of COVID and now and everything. We pretty much just go there for holidays and everything. But yeah, she lives on Old Hickory, and I catfish all the time over there. It's a lot of fun.
I caught some big catfish in Tennessee. Last time I was in Tennessee, I caught some pretty good blue with
There's
Billy
a
Claybo.
There's actually some state records out of Old Hickory. I know it used to be the Flathead Catfish record, but I think another body of water has taken that from Old Hickory. But yeah, there's a couple of records there.
Tennessee still have the flathead world record.
I have no clue. I do know that the record is like 89 pounds or something like that.
I thought it was 103 or something like that now.
Oh, then I don't know. I check from time to time to see like the records whenever I'm interested, and I thought it was 89 pounds, but it might be bigger. You might be right.
Maybe that was the old record or something that might got broken.
Yeah.
I remember like the old record growing up. The story behind that was is the guy caught it on a Zetco 202 with 10-pound line.
Well, I mean that can be done. You just got to be real careful. I bet it took him a very long time to reel that fish in.
Can you imagine that fight?
Yeah, I would be terrified the entire time. I would literally like be barely reel.
Flathead is 123. I thought it was high.
Wow.
Where was it caught out of so far?
Wait, are you talking about the world record or the state record?
The world record. The world record.
Yeah,
If Tennessee has the world record, that would be the state record.
that's true. That's right.
Because Kentucky's claim, anyway, Kentucky's state smallmouth record and the world record are the same size. You know?
Yeah. Okay, so what Google is telling me in Tennessee, it's 85 pounds, and it was caught July 25th, 1993. Trying to see where it was caught out of. Hiwassee River. Yeah,
I know what it is.
that's what it says. Hiwassee River. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but
You know, the smallmouth world record was caught out of a lake not too far from you, right?
Yeah, I have to look on my phone again because I'm not well versed on it. But
Caught out of Del Hollow.
yeah, that sounds familiar.
Most of Del Hollow is in Tennessee. A small portion of it's in Kentucky.
Right.
It's over in
Yeah,
Birdstown,
11 pound, almost 16 pounds is the record. Oh no, sorry, almost 12.
Kansas. Appreciate it, Solo. Yeah, almost 12. Yeah.
And then the largemouth bass record isn't. I mean, it's only 15 pounds, which is
Uh,
crazy.
the largemouth world record right now is shared. Um, it's a tie with a guy from Alabama and a guy in Japan.
Yeah, yeah. I remember looking it up as some guy from in Asia, and I don't think they're native there.
No,
um,
well, not yet, but I guess Japan weighed actually 1 ounce more than the Alabama world record. But to beat a world record, I guess for the margin of error, it's got to be 2 ounces or better, or they consider it a tie.
right, right. Yeah, I don't know why those fish are over there. I mean, I whenever I went to England, I talked to a guy because we went trout fishing in England, and he has caught tons of largemouth bass, and he caught them all in Africa, which is interesting. Uh, I don't know why they're over there, but maybe I have no clue. Maybe they just brought them over. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Fishing says don't forget the 25 pounder. Yeah, that was caught in California, and it never counted for the world record because he never hooked it in the mouth. He found. I always respected the guy for being honest. Like he's got the world record and significant. He would own the world record. He's got the
Right.
world record in his hands and says, "Nah, I foul hooked it."
I mean, that fish had to be like going after it, at least.
Yeah, well, it was on bed.
Oh, okay, that makes
So when
sense.
it swiped at it, when he set the hook, he set it. He foul hooked it.
Man, that's pretty devastating.
I thought it was Alabama. Was it Georgia? Yeah, it might have been Georgia. World. Just all sorts of wrong tonight. For some reason I was thinking Alabama. Yeah, you're right. Lake Montgomery. George Perry. I do know about the California bass because that picture made the social media circuit for a while.
Cool stuff.
And
I
then Lake Biwa, Japan, 18.66 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one that I heard of.
Well, the Georgia one was before my time. Now, Cali Bass was named Dottie. Yep.
Yeah, I yeah, because it had the dot that was on its like lip or
Yeah.
something. That's how they could identify it. I think I watched a documentary on it.
They fished and fished and fished for that bass again and never could catch it again. And then
They found it
uh,
dead, right?
they found it floating.
At least they found it. That's a wonder.
Oh man, I think that took some honor.
Yeah.
I'd be like, nobody saw me foul. Okay, this is the
Yeah.
world record. You know?
Yeah, no one saw me foul hook it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at least it got documented, and it's not an official record, but we know that a fish can get that big. So, or at least can.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about this. So you got to beat a world record by 2 ounces. I guess it's the margin of error.
Right.
Because I know when I weigh fish out, you see the ounces bounce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll normally just wherever it bounces the highest, that's how much it weighs.
All right, Henry. Well, we went a little over an hour. Henry, you got anything you want to mention before we leave tonight?
Thanks for having me. I mean,
Yeah,
I
no
really
problem.
appreciate this opportunity to, talk about, what I do and just talk about fishing and hunting. I really enjoyed it. I don't really have anything to say other than, check me out. If you like my stuff, then hopefully you can stick around. And if you haven't subscribed to Blue Collar Fishing, you need to go ahead and do that, because he does these awesome live streams every single week. He also puts out a lot of cool videos. He just did a pond hopping video where I think you caught some bluegill or sunfish, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, thank you, and I appreciate getting this outlet to kind of talk about what I do. I mean, what you're doing is awesome, and hopefully you continue doing this and having more creators on here. I've started tuning in every single week once I started finding out about it, so it's
I appreciate that.
awesome. It's a lot of fun, and again, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Top of the chat, I put Henry's channel in before we came in. When we leave tonight, I'll go and edit the description box. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description as well for however long this video is up. I don't know. I know last week's is still up, but it's because John is so big. When he shared that video, I can't unlist it now because it brings traffic in every day now. I don't know. John was kind of lightning in a bottle last week for me. Can a mod drop a link? I can drop it now, actually. I still have it up here. I got to get more moderators.
Yeah.
There's his link right there in the chat. So if you haven't already, be sure you go and check Henry out. See what he's got going on. If you came in tonight and you're not already subscribed to Blue Collar Fishing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up before you leave tonight. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.